Oh, hey guys, welcome to another video today. Today we're going to be talking all things listing optimization and specifically optimizing your listing for mobile on Amazon. Let's go. Alright, welcome to another video. Today, for the eagle-eyed amongst you, you'll notice the backdrop is a little bit different. I've just been making some upgrades to the office space, getting things a little bit more optimized for work and for getting away from work. Let me know what you think below. Like it, don't care, let me know. Speaking of optimization, it is the subject of today's video. We're actually going to talk about listing optimization for mobile on Amazon. But before we get into it, if you are someone who wants to be freed up from the grip that money places over time by building a business that makes an impact, then make sure you are subscribed with those notifications on, because on this channel that's exactly what we talk about. All right, today, as I say, listing optimization. Now, listing optimization is an absolute fundamental key for your success on Amazon, and it's something that we have talked about a lot in the past. It's something we go into great depth in the Amazon Masters, but today I wanted to address listing optimization for mobile, specifically the mobile app, the Amazon app. I saw a study recently that said over 30% of millennials said it is their most used and most important app, which I don't know if that's good or bad. It's kind of scary, but kind of good news for us Amazon sellers, right? Studies have shown that upwards of 80% of shoppers will actually shop on a mobile first. They'll browse on a mobile first on their lunch break, on the way home from work, sometimes when they're driving on the motorway, right? People will be on their phones all the time and they'll be browsing, checking, looking. And so it's so important today, in this day and age, in e-commerce today, that we have our product listings optimized for mobile. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about exactly how we do that. I'm going to run you through, I'm going to record my screen on my phone. I'm going to kind of talk you through the experience as we go through the Amazon app and highlight some things for you that you may not be aware of. And then at the end of the video, summarize for you some of the best practices. As you know, Amazon are obsessed with user experience, and optimizing your listings for mobile is actually going to really help you be able to deliver a greater experience for your shoppers, for your customers, which in turn, of course, is going to result in better ranking, is going to result in more prominence for your products, because as your goals and Amazon's goals come together and harmonize, it's going to be a beautiful thing. You're going to make more money, you're going to impact more lives with your incredible products, and so on and so forth. So we're going to dive into the phone now and take a look at some of the listings, and I'm going to talk you through what I'm seeing. All right, we are here on the Amazon homepage, and we are going to search for something here. As you would know, we don't really make sales from homepage listings because Amazon has millions of products on it. Where we make our money is in the search bar, right? That's where we make the money, is when people come searching for our products. So I'm going to come up to the search bar, and what we're going to look for here. What we're going to look for is I'm going to get the new iPhone shortly, just because it's got a wide angle camera and just looks amazing. I'm such a sucker for new technology. Anyway, iPhone 11 Pro case. Let's take a look at some of these and have a look at these listings and see what comes up. Obviously, you've got your sponsored results up here, swipeable headline ad, which is kind of a new feature too, which is pretty cool. Amazon literally always changing things. But yep, then you got your one main sponsored result at the top of the listings there, bestseller, Amazon's choice as per. And then I've gone on record, and in my trading I've always said that there are 4 main things, and now really there's 5 main things you can do to optimize for the click on the main results page, right? So when these products have shown up for iPhone 11 Pro case, they've done some good keyword research, they've done some good tactics that's got them ranked for this keyword. And now once you're ranked there, you actually then want to do as much as you can to optimize to get the click, right? No one can buy, you can't buy a case from the listings. In order to actually get the sale, you need to get people into your listing, and the only things that determine whether people are going to do that are going to be these 5 things. Number 1, your main image. Number 2, your title. Number 3, your reviews, both the amount of and the rating. Number 4, your pricing. And number 5, any discounts you're offering. You could add into that the Prime badge. You'll see here that Prime is something that is, quite prominent there. But being that pretty much all of you are going to be FBA sellers, this wouldn't necessarily apply because you're automatically going to have that. As you'll notice, first thing to notice from this is that hardly anyone is making use of vouchers. It takes a big scroll down until we get down to here, and we see this one, the Elago pink case. They're using a £1 green voucher. Now, £1 might not seem a lot, but that green really, as you're scrolling down, that green really sticks out, and really just appeals to the buyer. Shows there's a discount. Everyone loves a discount, right? So I'm amazed that more of these listings aren't using that. There's one way to immediately optimize your listing. And then what else I want you to look at is the title, right? The title is truncated. It only goes up to 80 characters. And now this is really important, right? With your title, we'll review this at the end of the video. We'll go through best practices and my recommendations for you going away from this. But it's really good to note that it gets truncated. You see how this one here, the Spigen Liquid Air case, it's only a short title, so it doesn't get truncated. Now, I'm not recommending that necessarily because they're missing out on a lot of keyword opportunities there, but it's just good to know that if there is key information that you want to communicate, then you need to make sure it is in the first 80 characters in your title, otherwise it's going to get chopped off. The second thing I want you to know, the main thing that's different to desktop when it comes to optimizing for mobile in the results page, and then we'll go into the listing in a moment, is the main image. Okay, the main image, and this is different to how it has been. This is a relatively new thing. This is different to a lot of training. You won't hear many people talking about this. My recommendation now is actually to use a portrait image for your main image. You see here how this Spigen Ultra Hybrid case actually has a portrait image. It's not square. It's not 1,000 pixels by 1,000 pixels. He would be doing 2,000 by 3,000 or 1,000 by 1,500. He would be doing something like that, or she would be doing something like that to make this a portrait image. Okay, and you can see the difference when you compare it to, say, for instance, this Taurus case, right? This Taurus case at the top here is only a square, and it does not look anywhere near as dominating as this Spigen case. And I know style can vary, and you might prefer the style of that other one, but the point I'm trying to make is less style and more how striking it is when you're scrolling, right? You've got to remember, people are scrolling on their lunch break, on the bus, whatever. You need to capture their attention, and one of the ways you can do that is with a voucher, like I said, but the second way you can do that is with a portrait image. You see how this portrait image just takes up so much more of that white space. So I would highly recommend considering changing your main image to a portrait image, right? So you see how this Taurus one, if you click through, there's a nice square image, that's fine, looks all good. You might worry about, what if I do a portrait image, is that going to affect it when I click through? But when you click through, actually it's still just as good, if not better, because it takes up a bit more room again, and it's nice and striking. So when it comes to the main listing results, the two areas that you really want to focus on are getting that voucher going and getting that main image into a portrait mode. Those two things alone will really help you optimize your listing for mobile, which is where 80% of shoppers start their journey. Now let's talk about the actual listing itself. Now, the listing order that you see on mobile is actually considerably different to desktop. You see how mobile, it starts like this. You've got the brand name and the reviews at the top, and then you've got the title, obviously your images, and then you've got variations after that. You've got pricing and availability information. Any promotions will be included there. Add to basket, again, all pretty normal so far, like what you might expect. But then when we go down, we get to, obviously frequently bought together, sponsored products, again, very similar to desktop. But the big difference comes when we get down to this section here, which is what we would normally see before this is our bullet points, right? On desktop, you've got the main image and bullet points right next to it. But what you see on mobile, actually, what comes first is what is now called your A+ content. It used to be called enhanced brand content. In the last few months, Amazon have actually updated it to A+ content. I'm just testing this out myself, doing some new setups with this, and it will be in the November feature roll-up that we'll be doing on the channel, talking all about that. A+ content is a game changer. It can really help you communicate your brand, the features and benefits of your product, and really create something a lot more visually engaging than you were previously able to do. But what is even more important is A+ content for mobile. You only have to set it up once on desktop when you're inside your Seller Central account, but then it will actually show on mobile above your bullet points, above your description, above any product information. It will be the main thing that's going to sell your product on mobile. So I want to encourage you to really pursue this. If you want to know how you actually create this, then you need to have brand registry. You need your brand to be registered with Amazon. In order to do that, you need a trademark. In the UK, that should only take 2 to 3 months. In the US, it can take up to around 9 months. So my recommendation, if you are selling in the UK, of course, is to register a trademark in the UK as soon as possible. If you're selling in the US, it has worked up until recently. I still believe it's still working, that you could register a trademark in the UK, take 2 to 3 months, and then use that to apply for brand registry in the US. If that's stopped working, please let me know. Please leave it in the comments below just so we can update that. But as far as I'm aware, last we checked, it's still working, right? So, and once you register for brand registry, then it will open up options for you like A+ content, and then you can begin to create your A+ content. And you see in this listing here how they've got a bunch of different images with text on, more text, and they've got this in, oh wow, this is, what is that, in French? I'm terrible with languages, so I think that might be French. Anyway, it's some language. See how the images there are all in the in English, but then the text in between is in a different language. So someone's not looked at that account and that product listing with close eyes, obviously. But with your A+ content, what this actually does is it allows, we won't go into detail on it for this video, maybe another one at a later date. If you want to see some more training about A+ content, maybe just drop me a comment below, and you can actually then create modules. What A+ content allows you to do is create up to 5 different modules, which allow you to put text and an image for each module. You have to put your logo at the top here, and then each module, like I say, you can have these kind of images. These guys are doing a relatively good job with some of these images. I mean, some of them are a bit of a waste of space. Like, I would always try and encourage you to have some kind of text on there to describe. See how these first couple of images I think are perfect for A+ content. The road you don't want to go down with your images for your A+ content is have hero images that have loads of text in them. You can be suckered into on desktop feeling like you've got this massive image and loads of space, so you're going to put loads of text in it to really highlight every single feature and everything about your product, whereas actually when it scales down to mobile, it can become a lot smaller. So I'd recommend this kind of thing, right? Just highlight the features, the benefits, one feature, one benefit, to a sort of a bird's eye view highlight, and just some really nice imagery. Sell the product in this section, because this is a real bonus that you actually get to have this showing up above your bullet points and description. Okay, so A+ content is next, and then you've got your features and details, which is your bullet points. Some devices are showing 3 bullet points, some 5, and a disclaimer that this does vary from device to device. I'm using an iPhone, of course, why wouldn't you? But if you're using Android, iPad, it may change, it may differ, it may vary depending on the device. Then you've got your product information, really important if you've got like a technical product and you want to have your measurements and the specifics of it in there. And then you've got the customers who bought this item also bought this. Then you've got your questions and answered, then some more sponsored products, and then your customer reviews. Looks like they don't actually have a product description in this one. With A+ content, it's different to what EBC used to be. With A+ content, you can still have a product description, so they're missing out on some keyword ranking there. There you can see product description, and it's got nothing in it. It just has the A+ content. So if you actually had put a product description in there, your A+ content will show, then the product description should show below, again varying from device to device. So that is how the mobile listing differs in order from the standard listing on desktop. And now a lot of people are still shopping on mobile and then going to desktop to make their final decision, but it goes without saying 80% plus people are doing their initial search on mobile. We've got to be optimized for mobile. So to finish off, let me run down my recommendations on best practices to optimize your listings for mobile. Number 1 is your images. That's the first thing and the easiest thing that you can change right now today to really optimize your listing for mobile. Mainly that main image is get it in portrait mode, test how it works, test how it looks on both mobile and desktop. Of course, if your category doesn't allow it, or if there are some nuances to what you're selling. Of course, that may vary, but on the whole, this is something that obviously is optimized for mobile. So get it tested, get it going, see how that works for you. And then of course, your supplementary images, they are front and center as always. And so just again, relook at those, make sure they are optimized for the shopping experience. Second of the best practices is your A+ content, formerly known as EBC, enhanced brand content. Make sure that you are making it a priority to register a trademark if you haven't already, and then a priority to get brand registry, and then a priority to upload your A+ content so Amazon can review it and get it approved and listed, because it will dramatically help your conversions on mobile. A+ content is a priority. Third recommendation, actionable takeaway for you today, is to create easily digestible information. Stop writing bullet points that are 500 characters long. Now, luckily, most categories don't allow you to do this, and the limit is 200 to 250. I would say only use that sort of 250. Don't use anything more if you're allowed more, because really it just gets too wordy. It looks like you're stuffing keywords. People lose interest. So make sure with your description, with your title, even with your bullet points, with everything you write, remember, it's mobile. People are moving fast. People are scanning through. Make sure it's easily digestible information. Revisit your copywriting. Make sure it's engaging. Make sure, as I always say, you're not just talking about the features, but you're selling the benefits. This iPhone case is strong. Therefore, your phone is less likely to break. Badly worded on the fly, but you get it. Don't just talk about the strength of the case. Talk about the benefit of the phone not being broken and you not having to pay for a new screen once a month, right? Talk about the benefits. Recommendation number 4 is to look at your title and make sure the first 80 characters of your title pack a punch. You're going to want to get as much key information, the information that you believe is, makes your product unique. You're going to want to make sure you get that in the first 80 characters. Of course, you want your main keyword in there too, but anything that you want to be shown on the listing results for mobile has to be in those first 80 characters. Number 5, your product description. Only the first 200 characters are going to show of this. So again, any key information you want to be displayed in your product description, like a call to action, like the benefits, the features, make sure they are primarily in the first 200 characters of your description. And then finally, number 6 is your bullet points. Make sure again you go for quality over quantity. Make sure you use all 5 of them, and make sure you do get some good keywords in there, but don't just stuff keywords in that make no sense. Don't add words that you don't need to. Make sure that you optimize your listing for success. Now, optimization is not going to be easy. Cutting it down to what really counts is not going to be easy. The writer William Cowper was quoted once as saying, "If I had more time, I would have written a shorter letter." And a lot of copywriters talk about that. A lot of advertisers talk about that, because what he's saying is often it actually takes more time to say less, because when you say less, it can be more punchy, more meaningful, but you have to sometimes cut away the noise. And the same is true with your Amazon listing. You need to cut away the noise, focus on what really counts, because mobile is where everyone is moving, and you need to make sure your listing is optimized for mobile. Put these principles into practice. Let me know how you get on, if it changes things, if it affects things. If anything that I've said is actually different in your context, let me know too, because this is just something that we're testing in our businesses too, and interested to hear from you how it helps and what it does for your sales and so on. If you want any more of my guides, training, resources for how to optimize your listings, how to do anything when selling on Amazon, you can check out the listings up above me. If you've enjoyed the video, I would love you to hit like so that more people can see it and their businesses can be impacted and improved too. And if you haven't already, make sure you do subscribe for more videos coming your way very soon. All right, I will see you soon.